Welcome to the Queen of Hearts podcast. And here's the queen herself, registered dietitian Heather Klug.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Queen of Hearts podcast.
Hello.
Hi, Bethany. So with us is Bethany DeBrew Adams. She is our health communication coordinator in the Karen Yance Center.
That's me.
Yes. So with 4th of July coming up.
Woo, can you believe it?
No, I can't.
How is it 4th of July already?
I don't know. But it is generally one of the biggest drinking days of the year in the United States. So we thought it might be a good idea to discuss alcohol and its effects on the heart.
Good or depressing?
Yeah.
Depends how you look at it.
So we'll review what counts as a drink, alcohol recommendations, and discuss calories in various alcoholic beverages.
All the stuff you didn't need to know, or what is it? Everything you always wanted to know, but were afraid to ask.
Yes. And for those who are more calorie or carb conscious, we will discuss how to reduce calories and carbs and those things too.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So we should start out full disclosure for those of you who don't know where we're recording from. We are in Wisconsin. And if you're not from Wisconsin and know about the culture of alcohol here, you've probably heard about the culture of alcohol here.
We're recording in Milwaukee County. Milwaukee is like known as the beer capital.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And so Heather and I thought it would be good to kind of talk a little bit about our own personal relationship with alcohol. Just because we both grew up in Wisconsin. We both went to college in Wisconsin. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I grew up in a smaller town in central Wisconsin and this was in the early 90s, and the thing to do on a Friday or Saturday was go to a party, and there was almost always beer involved, and, it was underage, of course. Mm-hmm. And then I went to college at UW-Madison, which, for those of you who don't know, it's almost consistently ranked as one of the top party schools in the United States. Yeah. So Lord knows I did my fair share of partying there.
I spent a Halloween there once. It was crazy.
I think pretty much everybody has spent at least one Halloween there in the state, Yeah. So, I did a lot of that kind of partying when I was in my late teens and 20s. Mm-hmm. And then I got older and I kind of mellowed out a little bit. Is it I matured, or is it I had my first hangover post age 30? And
Couldn't it be a little bit of both?
I think everybody, once you have that, it's like you have to start saying to yourself, is it worth it? Exactly.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Exactly.
That stops me many times.
Yeah, and so now I'm just more of a casual drinker. I think I have more cocktails in the summer when it's warm. I can be outside, have a nice little frozen drink here and there, or a beer or whatever. But I'm not an alcohol with dinner person. I never have been. I know I'm weird. I don't like drinking and having food at the same time. It doesn't go
Even
well.
Though that would release the alcohol more slowly into your bloodstream.
I mean, if I feel myself getting intoxicated and it's like I need to eat something, sure. But I'm not the person who sits down and says, "Oh, I'll have a glass of wine with dinner."
Okay. Yeah.
So what about you, Heather?
Well, I did not grow up in a small town. I grew up in a suburb pretty close to the city of Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. But I grew up in a household where there wasn't a whole lot of alcohol. Okay. I did not drink a whole lot in high school. Maybe just once or twice.
Sure, make me look bad.
I just didn't. But then college, I did my fair share. I definitely enjoyed college, although I was still somewhat careful.
Sure.
If I had a situation where I drank too much my first semester, of a certain year, I would not drink for the rest of the year.
You'd make the vow.
I would, and then I wouldn't drink, and I'd be the designated driver. But, my 20s, I definitely had a lot of fun. And then I would have to say after probably I had my, first child, or even pregnant with her, obviously. Sure. I mean, I'd say that slowed down a lot. I mean, your life just changes and you don't have as much time for that. And kind of like you, it slowed down a lot more. I drink alcohol, but it's not an every night kind of thing.
Right.
Occasionally I might have wine with dinner. Yeah. If I think of it. but by the time I get to sit down at night, it's not till like 9 p.m. or after. And even I may have thought of having wine, like, oh, I'm really stressed. Maybe I'll have some wine tonight. And then I'm like, no, now it's getting too close to bedtime, and then I won't sleep well. So I don't do it.
This is what happens when you get older. You start considering these things a little bit more.
So, I mean, it's not to say I don't drink either. When I get together with friends or family and it's a big get together, I'll usually have one or two, but I'm generally not the person to go overboard on alcohol.
Well, that's good.
I mean, I won't go into details, but my last high school reunion, I did drink way too much. It was not a good experience. So
the details are funny, but they're not mine to share.
Yes. So we won't go into that. But in general, I don't drink a whole lot.
Yeah. So, saying that we acknowledge that we do drink alcohol once in a while. Let's talk about the positive aspects of alcohol first. So we'll butter everybody up with the good news. So what are the upsides?
Yeah, there are actually 3 upsides to drinking alcohol. There's
That's
3.
A lot.
Okay. So the first one is that alcohol can raise what's called your HDL cholesterol. This is your healthier good stuff. So you want higher amounts of the HDL because its job is to go in there and help clear out the LDL, right? So it's not clogging up your blood vessels. So it helps with that a little bit more. Okay. Now, I would like to point out, though, that exercise is a much better way to boost your HDL, but alcohol does help a little. Okay. Second thing is that it thins out your blood, kind of helps prevent the blood platelets from sticking together and then forming a blood clot. Okay, so it keeps that blood a little bit thinner. This can be good or bad, though, because there's a point where if you drink a lot, you're going to thin your blood out too much, and if you happen to cut yourself, then you wouldn't stop bleeding. That's not good.
That's a downer.
It's a big downer. Okay. And then the third thing is that it actually relaxes the walls of your blood vessels. And in this case, that's a good thing. That means your blood vessels are going to dilate or they're going to open up, right? Okay. So that means the blood's going to flow through much better.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the good news, everybody. So we know that there's definite downsides to drinking, kind of on the outside of the body. So drunk driving, accidents, drinking too much and blacking out, those kinds of things. Yeah. So I'm guessing that the actual physical effects that alcohol has on the heart sometimes can be not so good either.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are more downsides to alcohol. Right? Rats. So before you break out the booze, we do need to go through some of these, okay? So too much alcohol can raise your triglyceride levels, especially if you drink it fairly regularly, right?
Really? So it can lower your...
No, it increases
or raise your good cholesterol, but it also raises your triglycerides.
Yeah, and if you don't know much about triglycerides, they're a type of fat that's found in your blood, but even if your other cholesterol numbers are fine, but you have high triglycerides, that's also a risk factor for having a heart attack. So you have to be careful. We don't want these higher.
Makes sense.
Yes. Now, another thing that can happen, I'm sure everybody's aware of this, but there are calories in alcohol. I wish there weren't. And depending on what you're drinking and certainly the number of drinks you're consuming, sometimes the calories can add up quite a bit, which can lead to weight gain, right?
Ah, yes.
I mean, I think that's kind of where the phrase beer belly came from.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. We all know people who kind of came back from that first semester, freshman year of college, and kind of what contributed to the freshman 15 was a little too much partying.
Yes. I can attest to this. I didn't gain that in my first year of college, but I want to say it was maybe my third year in college. I gained, when I turned 21.
Okay, I was doing the math.
I kind of went a little overboard. I gained 40 pounds.
Oh,
I mean, this was over like a 6-month period, though, so I'm counting the summer in there, too.
But still.
Yeah, that's
a lot.
Too much weight for me. Yeah. Anyway, so a few other things to mention. So both drinking regularly and drinking large amounts of alcohol can actually damage the heart muscle itself.
Okay.
And it can lead to something called cardiomyopathy. Okay, which is really dangerous. Eventually, you'd need a heart transplant, right?
Oh, That's not good.
Yes, we want to avoid that. And then even near your heart, there's other organs that can get damaged too. I think
Like your liver.
Yes, your liver, but also your pancreas and your stomach. So I think we all know about liver disease, cirrhosis
Sure.
of the liver, but with your pancreas, you can get pancreatitis if you drink a lot, or pancreatic cancer. And then for your stomach, you can get stomach ulcers.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about, is there anything like, so I'm assuming a lot of that is kind of like if you're drinking a lot over a period of time, but we talk a lot about binge drinking. Is there anything, aside from obviously getting completely annihilated and, you know, whatever, what can binge drinking do?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that because so when you binge drink, which is defined as 4 drinks or more for women and 5 drinks or more for men in a 2-hour period, okay? That what this can do is it can cause your heart rhythm levels to become irregular. Those are called arrhythmias. Yeah, so that can be very dangerous too because that can lead to blood clotting.
And I'm assuming, like, if you're taking medications, alcohol, you know, you see it on, like, almost every medication bottle. It seems like it says, you know, do not drink alcohol with this.
Right.
So there's any number of things
Yes.
that...
Please, if you haven't done it, please look at your medication, you know, the information that comes with your medication. You'd be surprised how many people don't read those. Read that over. See if there's anything in there about alcohol.
Or a lot of times your pharmacist will actually give you the pills and sit down with you. That's the time to ask.
Yes, especially if you like alcohol. Say, I like to drink alcohol. You know, can I drink it with this medication? And, you know, they might even say, well, if you do drink, just try to do this and this and this, right?
Yeah.
They can at least let you know to be more careful with it rather than abstaining completely sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
Usually it's not don't stop altogether.
Right.
But be very careful when you do.
Yes.
So, okay, like we just mentioned, high amounts of alcohol aren't good for the heart. But we also know that alcohol is one of those things like butter or eggs where sometimes we hear it's bad and then we hear it's good. So it seems like light to moderate alcohol intake is okay and might even be beneficial. So what does light to moderate mean?
Yeah, it is kind of confusing, isn't it? So you are correct. You know,
I like when I'm
about
correct.
the research. Yeah, it's interesting. Moderate alcohol intake compared to heavy drinking and even compared to abstainers or non-drinkers. You know, the moderate drinkers actually have a reduced risk for heart disease.
Really?
Now, I wouldn't read...
So does that mean I don't drink? Do I need to start?
No, I still, that's a pretty definitive no.
Oh,
I know. That one's easy for me. It's like, no, if you don't drink, don't start drinking just to reduce your risk for heart disease because there's so many other things that you can do to reduce your risk, right?
Yes, we talk about them a lot.
Yeah, and all the other podcasts, eating healthy, exercising regularly, managing your stress, keeping blood pressure down,
getting
right?
good sleep, all of that
all
stuff.
of that kind of stuff. Do those things first before you start drinking.
Before you resort to the wine.
Well, the other reason I would say this is because research can tell us a lot, but it doesn't always tell us everything, right? So the people who are defined as abstainers in the study could have been former drinkers. Maybe they're, you know, and they don't drink anymore now.
Sure.
Maybe they have other, you know, things in their lifestyle that aren't great. If you used to drink a lot of alcohol, maybe you also used to smoke or maybe used to not eat healthy or, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
there
or like the
be,
moderators are the actual everything in moderation people that we talk about.
Maybe. Exactly. So, yeah. So be careful with that one there. But when we talk about what light to moderate means...
Get ready, folks.
Yeah. There's definitions in there, right?
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So we know large amounts aren't good for the heart. We talked about that.
Right.
Small amounts are generally kind of what's healthier. So the amount that's recommended, what's considered moderation...
Drum roll.
Yeah. 1 drink per day for women, 2 for men.
What?
Okay. Yeah, I know, ladies. It sucks.
Again,
you're all out there
ladies.
going, what? Why can't I have as much of the men?
Yeah.
As much as the men, right? So here is why women cannot have as much as men. Maybe this will help some of the ladies out there a little bit more. So women actually have less of an enzyme called alcohol dehydrogenase, and that is needed to metabolize alcohol. right?
Okay.
Otherwise, it'll just go right into your bloodstream, and then that's how you get drunk, basically, right?
So that's why
so
we get
ahead.
tipsy
yes,
quickly.
faster. Absolutely. So what's interesting too, when I was looking into this, because I always knew women had less than men, but I didn't realize men actually have this enzyme in their stomach and women don't.
Oh.
And women, it's only in their liver. So it has to get from the liver to the stomach. And,
oh, geez.
yeah, so if you don't have, so men have that in their stomach, it's already helping to kind of break it down. And it's getting released more slowly in men. So that's why they tend to have kind of like a higher tolerance level compared to women as well.
Okay. So.
And even, are you, well, I
I
know what you're going to ask me.
I was just going to ask, so say I weigh the same amount as my boyfriend over here.
Yeah.
Does that make any difference?
No.
What?
I wish I could say yes, but it all goes back to that alcohol dehydrogenase.
So it's basically, it's a male-female thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's just not fair.
Well, I know.
Among everything else, that's not fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about drink size? Because I know you're going to tell us that what we tend to be served or what we're serving ourselves a lot is not what an actual drink size should be.
It's sort of like food, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. And the drink sizes are defined, just so you know, so you can't get out
definitions.
I know. So you can't get out your biggest, glass. You can't get out the big beer stein. We used to call it Das Boot.
Nice.
You can't get out your biggest vessel for what you're going to drink with, like the big thermos, right? And go, here's my one drink.
Does
Sounds
not
funny.
count.
Sounds funny, but your body knows that that's more than one drink, right? So one drink is 12 ounces of beer.
Which, that's pretty easy.
That one's pretty easy because it usually comes in a can or a bottle.
Right.
I mean, if you're getting it from the tap, that might be a little different, right? For wine, it's 5 ounces.
That is not a lot.
It's not a lot. It's a little more than a Dixie cup, people.
Oh my! So I'm picturing the wine glasses that I have on my shelf right now, and I don't even think maybe 5 ounces might like put a quarter of a glass.
Especially those red wine glasses because they're wider.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, so if you're not sure what your own glasses hold for wine, you might want to pour some water in there and kind of see because it's, because that can be a little deceptive there, especially if they're wider because the level doesn't go as high, so you don't think there's as much in there. It's a little deceiving, yes. And then for hard liquor, right, like rum, vodka, that kind of stuff, an ounce and a half is considered one drink.
Okay, so like a shot
or a jigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've been talking, primarily about how alcohol affects your heart and your heart health, but there's also another dinger for women too when it comes to alcohol, and that has to do with breast cancer.
Yep. You are correct there, Bethany.
Again, that's twice in one episode.
Yeah, I mean, drinking alcohol has been shown to increase the risk for breast cancer.
Okay.
And this is actually independent of breast density and also genetic mutations like BRCA1 and BRCA2. Okay, so they accounted for that. And they found that even smaller amounts of alcohol can have an increased risk for developing breast cancer.
Ugh.
In fact, they did a pooled analysis of 53 studies. They showed that with every alcoholic drink per day, it increased your risk by 7%. If you drank 2 to 3 drinks, a day, that you have a 20% increased risk.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like a lot,
cancer.
but it's a lot.
Yep. And it's this risk is really mostly increased for what's called estrogen receptor positive breast cancer.
Okay.
It's a little less so for some of the other types.
So you're not saying that there's like estrogen or, phytoestrogen in alcohol?
No, it's not because that's in the alcohol itself.
Okay.
But it does have to do with estrogen. So alcohol changes the way estrogen is metabolized in women, and it causes the blood estrogen levels to rise. Okay. And so often what they see in women who drink alcohol, their blood level of estrogen is much higher compared to women who don't drink. Yeah.
So, well, that's interesting that, we're talking about this because I don't know if you've noticed, but it seems like in the last, 20 years or so, that drinking among women is it's become this thing that it's more socially acceptable. It's
Oh,
more flaunted, you know,
Yes.
like the rosé all day kind of thing. And, you know, there's T-shirts that you can get at. It used to be you'd just get like the funny novelty drinking T-shirt on vacation or spring break or something. And now it's at every store. You can get wine with everything or whatever. And it's just kind of become like this. It seems bigger into your 30s, 40s and beyond than it used to be.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I can remember in the early 2000s when I had my first child, I'd hear or read about, you know, women who'd get together, you know, with other moms. So it's like a play date. They bring their kids and they all hang out, but then they're drinking. Yeah. And it's during the day. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, I don't think I would do that. Maybe I'm a more cautious person, but and I know I can't tolerate, you know, a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be worried, like, I have my kid in my car. I don't want to drive home from somewhere.
Or what if they fall? And, you know,
I have to take them to the hospital and I've been drinking. Those things would kind of go through my head. But I'm going to throw out a statistic here for you that's probably going to shock you a little. It shocked me when I read it.
Hit me.
Okay. So alcohol use in women has increased 83% between 2002 and 2013. This is according to a 2017 study. So it maybe even be a little bit different now. But what
that's huge.
That's huge. But what they also found in this study is that drinking and binge drinking was actually increasing in girls in middle school and high school as well, right?
Wow.
We all know boys drank.
Well, sure.
Right, in middle school and high school, but they found by 10th grade that girls were actually drinking more than boys. And it was binge drinking.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm shocked by that, but at the same time, knowing what I know, what we know now about, you know, the effect of social media and online bullying and all of that kind of a thing, I can see how that would be happening to younger girls.
Yeah, it might be kind of a stress reliever for them.
An escape.
Possibly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's scary to me, right?
Well, yeah, you have girls coming up in that age group.
Right.
I would be scared.
Yeah.
Well, on a little bit different topic on this now, you mentioned earlier about calories in alcohol. And this is where it's going to get even more depressing, everybody.
Oh, come on now. Don't.
Because Heather's going to tell you how many calories are in your favorite drinks.
Yeah, because they're not
listed. And you might be shocked.
They're not listed on there, so you don't know unless you look stuff up.
I mean, we all know about, like, our light beer and our White Claw and all of that other stuff that's about 100 calories.
Right. Yeah, those two are about 100. Yep.
So now let's hit us with the knowledge, Heather.
So after that, we have regular beer. So 12 ounces is roughly 150 calories. Now, not too bad either, right?
No,
but factor in if you've had several of
like,
those. If
how
you've
many
had a
people
six-pack,
stop at one beer?
If you've had a 6-pack of regular beer, right? That's, 900 calories? So
that's half your day.
Yeah. Now, where it gets even worse is with all those different craft beers that are out there.
Sure.
And they sound fun and cool and all that. They have really fun names to them.
Funky ingredients.
Yeah, but they're usually pretty high in calories. A lot of them are over 200.
Ooh.
You know, there's a couple like Sierra Nevada Bigfoot's 330 calories, Dogfish IPA's 450. Bethany, there's one drink I found from Scotland, this craft beer.
Okay, I'm not shocked, but go ahead.
It's called Snake Venom.
That sounds bad.
It has 2,025 calories. I triple checked this because I'm like, they must have added an extra number in there. No, I'm like, they must have added a number in there accidentally. So I looked it up in several different places, and unless they're wrong the first time and everybody just copied and pasted incorrectly.
And that's like...
It did have a high alcohol content, but it was a 9-ounce bottle. I'm like, what is in that thing?
I'm thinking like one sip of that and you're dead. If there's that much booze in there.
Might be why it's called Snake Venom. I don't know.
You might want to stay away from
I think the only good news is that I don't think it's readily available here in the United States.
It's probably deadly, I'm guessing.
Okay, let's move over to wine.
Okay.
So wine has, for every 5 ounces, about 120 calories, so not too bad.
Not too bad until, again, you recall how much 5 ounces is.
Yes,
folks.
that's true. So keep that part in mind. If you move up to like a dessert wine, whether it's dry or it's sweet, you're going to have closer to 225, 240 calories.
Thanks, sugar.
If you're really trying to be careful, you could go for the white wine spritzer.
Ooh,
which is where they dilute.
splash.
Yep, they dilute the wine with a little bit of club soda.
Splash of club soda.
And club soda is interesting. It sounds like it's high in sugar and has calories, but it doesn't at all. It's just carbonated
water.
Right,
yeah.
Yeah, it just gives it
unlike
kind of,
tonic water, which does have sugar and calories in it.
Yes, quite a bit. But that white wine spritz are only 70 calories. All right,
to know.
Let's get into the cocktails.
Oh, boy.
This is my favorite category. This is kind of
Is it or is it sad?
These are kind of the drinks I like, but so a screwdriver, so vodka and orange juice, about an 8-ounce size, is about 180 calories.
Not too terrible.
Same thing for a rum and Coke.
Okay.
Mojitos, roughly about the same as well, okay, for that same size. An old-fashioned sweet or sour, again, roughly about the same amount of calories. That was like 170.
Sure.
Mimosa, same thing, about 140, so not too bad. Again, that's
A
for
little
like
smaller glass
yeah.
usually.
But let's talk about the Bloody Mary. So Bloody Mary for a 6-ounce size. Now, that's a pretty small one.
That's
in
a
my
tiny
opinion.
Bloody Mary.
Yeah,
I don't think
that's
I've ever
140.
seen one that
okay,
small.
so fine. Like mostly you'd probably get what, like a 12-ounce one?
Probably.
So it's maybe about 280 calories.
But
And then there come the toppings.
Welcome to Wisconsin, folks, because here's where we set ourselves apart.
So I'm going to share with you a restaurant. I won't say their name, but it's a restaurant in Milwaukee. They're known for their Bloody Marys and the toppings that come with them.
You've probably seen them because they have gone viral.
You can get a skewer of bacon-wrapped cheese balls with your Bloody Mary, or a cheeseburger slider with the bacon-wrapped cheese balls.
I'm thinking the bacon-wrapped cheese balls sound really good right about now.
Or you can even get a whole fried chicken with your Bloody Mary.
Yeah,
Sounds
that's
like a
a
meal.
real thing. And consider the size of the drink when you put a whole fried chicken in it, because the size also kind of corresponds with how heavy. They're in big mugs.
Okay. I don't think they put the fried chicken in the mug.
No, they put it on top.
Okay.
They skewer it. There are pictures.
I thought it just came on the side.
And can I also say, I don't know if this, I've heard this is just a Wisconsin thing too, but we do a beer chaser usually with a Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a small little like juice glass size beer chaser, and sometimes it's a full beer. It depends on where you're going for your drinks.
Uh-huh.
So
Yes.
that'll add another, 150 calories on there.
Right.
So.
I didn't realize the beer chaser was a Wisconsin thing. Interesting. Okay. All right, let's get to some fun sweet drinks. I like these too, but I save these for more special occasions. But things like daiquiris and margaritas
Pina
and
coladas.
pina colada. That's one Bethany likes. Now, most of those are going to average about
Sorry.
If you like pina coladas. Getting caught in the rain. Okay, so those drinks have around 450 to 500 calories each.
Ouch.
And I'm guessing the ones that come in the really big glasses, I'm sure, are like
shapely.
double.
Yeah.
Yeah. So be careful with those, you guys. Yep.
And even you mentioned one that I didn't necessarily think of, but a martini has a lot of calories
I forgot the
in
martini.
it too.
Yeah, martinis are like 3 drinks in one. So a little 5-ounce martini is like 300 calories. Oh, and we forgot the ice cream drinks.
How could we forget the ice cream drinks?
So ice cream drinks are really popular here in Wisconsin. We have things like the grasshopper,
Brandy
Alexander, a pink squirrel. Yeah.
They are dessert in a glass.
Yes, they are. So those are all easily probably close to 500 calories as well.
And like I've said, I've been known, they're a supper club, usually a supper club drink, another Wisconsin thing we have here. Mm-hmm. So when other people are ordering a dessert, I will have a grasshopper. That is my dessert.
Okay.
And it's delightful.
Yeah.
I love a good grasshopper.
All right. Sounds good.
So
that's
I
had
it.
One of those.
we've had good news and we've had bad news in this podcast, Heather.
Yeah.
So leave us with something upbeat.
Well, what about if you want to drink, but you are trying to keep calories down or carbs down a little bit more? There are some things you can do.
So you're not telling me I don't I can't have anything.
Right.
All right.
I would never tell people that unless it's dangerous for you to have alcohol. Now, the big number one tip, if you haven't already guessed it, is to just limit the number of drinks you're having.
Right.
Right, because that'll save calories and carbohydrates.
Or make sure the size is what the size
Yes,
is recommended
that's true.
to
Don't
be.
order like a, what do they call them? Like a double bubble or they have different names for them, I think, right? Don't order the big size drink because they'll have specials. Like you go during happy hour time.
Exactly.
Right? And they're like, do you want a regular or a big one? And how easy is it to say, oh, I'll take a big one.
For the same price?
For the same
Sure.
price, right? They got a deal, so be careful of that. If you can remember to do it, alternate your drinks with water or seltzer water, not the hard seltzer, regular seltzer or unsweetened tea, or if you drink diet soda, you could do that too, just so you space out the alcohol that you're delivering into your system a little bit more, okay? A few other things you can do. This probably seems obvious, but for the drinks that come with like soda or juice or syrups, creams like creme de cacao, creme de menthe. There's stuff with coconut cream in them, ice cream. Try to stay away from those drinks. Have them for more special occasions, right? And not every weekend's a special occasion. I know. Use diet soda in place of regular soda. That's kind of what I do with rum. So my favorite drink is a rum and Diet Coke with lime in it. I know it sounds boring, but it's my favorite.
That's your favorite.
Thing.
That's your favorite, like everyday drink.
Yes, because I can kind of sip that a little bit more. I can make it last.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yes. And then for mixed drinks with juice, my other tip there is you could put in less juice, and then to make up for that other, half part of juice, mix it with a little bit of like club soda.
Good
right?
idea.
Because you get the carbonation in there and you get a little bit of a filler.
Sure.
Yeah.
See, so it's not all sad and bad. You can enjoy a cocktail.
Yes.
We just encourage everybody to obviously drink responsibly. Mm-hmm. Don't drink and drive. If you're going to be having some cocktails this weekend for the 4th of July, just, be smart about it.
Yeah. Don't go too overboard.
Exactly, which I realize can be easy to do right about now.
Yeah. We just want everybody to be healthy and safe.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that's it for today, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. And as we always say, be the ruler of your own heart.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on the Queen of Hearts podcast. Our podcast is recorded here at the Karen Yance Women's Cardiac Awareness Center inside Aurora St. Luke's Medical Center in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. For more heart-healthy tips, info, recipes, and more, visit our website at www.karenyancecenter.org, like us on Facebook at Karen Yance Center, and follow us on Pinterest. If you like what you hear, subscribe to our show and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, ladies, be ruler of your own heart.